A very good afternoon and a hearty welcome to everyone. Myself, Shraddha Misra, Ambassador of Change from GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute. It is one of the most premium training institutes of India. I would be honored today to tell about that GETI is founded and conceptualized by Dr. Sunita Gandhi with a broad vision of disruptive education. Under it, we provide two types of training. One is the pre service training, where we teach trainers or teachers who are already in service and who wish to be aspiring teachers in future. And the other is in service, where we train teachers who are already in service. On these live forums, we conduct live talks under the banner of D-Talks, where we invite bureaucrats, policymakers, researchers, entrepreneurs from around the globe to enlighten us with the varied educational practices carried out under the spectacular vision of Dr. Gandhi. Hence, these endeavors. Today, this afternoon, I'm very privileged and thrilled to have with us on board Dr. Nalini Misra. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shraddha Mishra. Thank you for
Nalini
calling me
Mishra.
here. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Nalini Mishra, ma'am, is an assistant professor in Department of Education in Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti Language University, Lucknow. She has an experience of 10 years of teaching. Her areas of specialization are higher education, guidance, and counseling, environmental education as well. She has authored four books in education and has more than 25 papers published in national and international journals of repute. She has developed a number of e-content for students for uploading in university website and higher education portal. She has organized various seminars and webinars in the university. Dr. Nalini Mishra is holding and has experience of various posts of university as such. She has been the coordinator of Women's Study Center at university. She has been an NSS program officer, also a public information officer and a team member in extension activities of university like Red Ribbon Club. She has been resource person in many national and international seminars. She has participated and presented research papers in more than 120 national and international seminars and conferences. Dr. Nalini Mishra is making good contribution in social outreach activities in society. She has also adopted one TB patient girl through her NSS unit. She is organizing social activities, especially for welfare of girls and women, on regular basis through Women's Studies Center and NSS unit. So you have already created a benchmark, ma'am, and there is so much and so forth to learn from you. Without a much ado, now I would like you to please introduce your topic, and then we can start and proceed with the presentation that you prepared. Over to you, ma'am.
thank you, Shraddha, and thank you for making me a part of this movement. I feel really grateful that you have thought to call me here and become a part of this drive that this GETI is going through. The topic of my presentation is problem-based learning. As uh, my introduction has already been done, I'm Dr. Nalini Mishra from Department of Education, KMC Language University, and because I'm in B.Ed and I'm already training and teaching the B.Ed students, so it is a part of my job profile too to get to know such people whom I can teach and I can tell them better, and I can make them understand the latest researches that are going on in the field of education, through which the teachers, the would-be teachers of the society, they may learn more, and finally the learners are able to learn more. The topic of my presentation, that is problem based learning, is actually on the latest researches that are being done, the education sector that is going through the movement. Those movements are based on these methods of teaching that are changing every day, day by day. Many changes are coming, many modifications are coming, keeping the learners in mind. The learner centered approach that we are dealing with, and the education sector that is taking up these learner centered approaches, this problem based learning is a part of it. I'll start my presentation with a few lines on learning. We think too much about effective methods of teaching and not enough about effective methods of learning. As the education is changing according to the learners, the learner centered approaches are being taken into consideration, and they are being made important, it is very important to modify the methods of learning. We always take methods of teaching as important, and we try to change those methods of teaching. But when we keep those learners in our mind, and we make changes in our education system according to the learners, so that their learning is more effective and they're able to learn more, of course we'll be able to evolve a better education system that will suit them. In the lines of Confucius, I hear and I forget. I see and I believe. I do and I understand. When this I is the learner. When the learner is made to do things himself, he'll understand the content, the knowledge in a better way. The problem based learning is based on that. So now first of well, we start this presentation with the meaning of problem based learning. Problem based learning is PBL in abbreviation in short form. We'll read out what is this PBL. This PBL is a student centered approach to learn that involves group of students working to solve a real world problem. In this problem based learning, we are keeping these students as the core of the education, or as the core of the teaching learning method. So we will give some problem to these students, and this the whole teaching learning process or the method will now revolve around this problem. The students will be given some real world problem, which is quite different from the direct teaching method of a teacher. So, in the direct teaching method, what we do first, we teach and then we give some problems to them as teachers. But in this problem based learning, we assign a problem to the students first, and then they will start working towards solving that problem. And when they will do something to solve that problem, they will learn in that process. The teacher, what does he do? He will guide the students in solving that problem. Through PBL, students not only strengthen their their teamwork, communication, and research skills, but they also sharpen their critical thinking and problem solving abilities essential for lifelong learning. Education is a lifelong process, and when you make your learners learn through this method, this problem based learning, they will be able to learn throughout their life through this, because they, in the daily life, they are facing a lot of problems. And when they are able to solve those problems scientifically in a process through a method, and they slowly and slowly they come to that way that whenever they solve a problem, they are learning something. So this is a better way of learning and a better method of learning, which sharpens their communication and research skills also, because to solve the problem they are learning, they are reading the content, they are taking guidance from their teachers and other associated persons, those who can help them. They also learn collaborative, they also learn to solve the problems in collaborative environment, so their teamwork is also strengthened. So in this way, this problem based learning is a better method of learning, is a very good method of learning, a new method of learning. And in this way, they are able to do this lifelong learning also in a better way. Here is a chart in front of you where you can see the traditional learning is compared to problem based learning. In traditional learning, as I have already said, that the students are told what they need to know in regular class. What we teachers do in normally in a class, we tell the students what they have to learn, what is the syllabus, what is their curriculum, what are the chapters they have to go through. We and make them understand in our own words. We read it, we ask them to memorize it, and then the problems are given to them, the questions are given to them to assign to them to solve those questions. This is traditional learning. But in problem based learning, the problem is assigned to them first, and then they identify what they need to know regarding solving that problem. What facts, what illustrations, what content do they need to study to solve those problems? So the problem comes in front of them, and when they consider that problem, then they realize what kind of content they should understand, what kind of knowledge they need to gather, the facts they need to gather, and then they will do the research work, and then they learn and apply to solve the problem given to them. In implementing problem based learning, the teaching role shifts from that of the more traditional model that follows a linear sequential pattern where the teacher presents relevant material. informs the class what needs to be done, and provides details and information for students to apply their knowledge to a given problem. See, there's a paradigm shift when we talk about problem based learning. In problem based learning, we are totally shifting the whole teaching method in the way the traditional method was taking place, was happening in the class, the way it was followed. We are changing the whole teaching method in a new form. So PBL is totally making a paradigm shift in this teaching learning situation in the class. The traditional method, it's totally the opposite of the traditional method. Problem based learning is totally the opposite of the traditional method, where the details and information are not given to the students, and they have to seek it themselves. The teacher is a facilitator, the learning is student driven. The teacher will act as a guide and a facilitator to the student, and the learning is student driven, because it is with the aim of solving the given problem. The problem, because it is set before the chapter, or before the facts are given to them, before the information is given to them. So this is quite an opposite to the traditional method. And because we the researchers, they have found out that when the paradigm shift is made such, when the student orientation towards the content is made more, they are able to concentrate more, they learn more. So this PBL learning will be more effective, and we have to incorporate this problem based learning wherever the students, we find they're lacking in their attention and concentration, that they lack in the regular classes many times. We have to change the stimulus and bring this problem based learning in light to the class. Let's analyze a traditional method of teaching. The teacher is the sender or the source. The teacher takes the dominating role, and he becomes the sender or the source of knowledge. The educational material is the information or message related to the content or the syllabus or the curriculum that he has to cover in the class. The student becomes the receiver of the information. So there are two ends, the sender and the receiver, and the communication is done about the information that is sent from the sender to the receiver. The delivery medium is the lecture method, the chalk and talk method, the blackboard is used, the words are used, the lecture is used, some OHPs or some other audio visual aids, and now these days PowerPoint presentations are also used in the class. Some smart classes are also there in some schools, where other audio visual aids are also used. But the teacher plays the dominating role in the class, and the students are passive. And when they are passive, they are not interacting with the content in the class. The questions are not being made to them in the class. This teacher is has taken the overall dominating role, and he is not asking the students to solve their queries or asking the questions to them. Of course, they'll be very passive, and the concentration will fade off after 15 to 20 minutes. Once the concentration will fade off, they will not learn. So that is a problem now. That is a problem in in the traditional method, when the students' concentration fades off, and there are variety of students. They have individual differences. So some students will concentrate more, some students will concentrate less, and you're not involving any of them in the class. So gradually the interest will fade off, and they will stop learning. So the main aim of going in the class, the teacher goes in the class to teach the learners, to make them learn. The students will learn when a teacher enters, but when the concentration will fade off, they won't pay attention to the content that the teacher is delivering. Of course, the aim of the method of teaching that the teacher is using, that will fade off, that will won't be effective. So traditional method is not effective when the concentration fades off, when you're not involving the students. Now we come on to the problem based learning, the main features of problem based learning. We have analyzed the traditional methods of learning. We have seen what the traditional method of learning is, and why some problems are seen, and why we have to incorporate this problem based learning in our regular classes too. See, the features of this problem based learning is, it is very useful for developing thinking skills in students. When the students are solving the problem themselves, and when they are seeking the help of the teacher, and the teacher is facilitating them in the knowledge, and guiding them in gathering the information from the sources like books, ebooks, or internet sources, or the teacher is asking the other teachers also to help these students out, like they are helping the students out as experts. So when these students will try to gather the information and the facts and the knowledge themselves, their thinking skills will involve. evolve, and if their thinking skills, when they involve, their thinking skills get evolved also. And these thinking, the purpose of education is to final the ultimate purpose of education or learning is to evolve the thinking skills of the students. So when you are making the students learn on their own, just facilitating and guiding them in towards the pursuit of knowledge, the students will learn more and they will get better learning and better education. So the aim of education that will be achieved more, and that will be a satisfaction for the learners and the teachers as well. There's a cooperative atmosphere for learning in problem based learning. There's a cooperative atmosphere. Cooperation in the sense the students are cooperating among themselves too, because they're searching for the knowledge, for the content, so they are asking each other also to help them out. So there's a cooperation, there's a teamwork in the class too. The teacher is there as a facilitator, so he's also cooperating with the students, and other experts are also cooperating because problem based learning is going on. So a cooperative atmosphere is built up in the classroom, and cooperative and collaborative learning takes place. So this is a better form of learning when the students are also learning the social behaviors, the cooperative environment, the collaboration in that they have to take for learning. So it is a very good thing that goes on in the problem based learning. It's a main feature of problem based learning which lacks in the traditional method of learning. The teacher's role is facilitative and supportive. As I already said, the teacher will be a guide. Now he will not dominate the class. He'll just facilitate and support the whole class in going towards the knowledge, in learning the content, in finding out the facts, in finding the learning for themselves, educating the learners. So he'll be facilitating and supporting the whole class. So his role becomes a bit not like dominating. He'll be a friend, like a friend to them. He'll be facilitating the pursuit of knowledge to the learners. The student roles becomes more active and participative. In the traditional method of learning, we have already seen that the student role becomes passive, and gradually their attention or the concentration fades off. But when the students are learning and the teacher is helping them out, they're taking more interest in learning, and when they find themselves as researchers in solving the problem, they have to gather the information, and when they go to the teacher will help them out. They'll become more active and they'll be more participative. So when they involve more in the learning, they are involved more in finding out the truth or the knowledge, there'll be more learning that will occur in the class. So this problem based learning will be a better form of learning for learners. Here is a chart in front of you where you see that how PBL promotes self-directed learning and how it ensures high retention level of learning that we are talking about. We start from the top. This is 10% of what they read. See, when they are reading, when the students are reading, like when they're reading a book, when they're reading a book, it is 10% is what is the retention power is just 10%. They'll just remember 10% of what they're reading. When they're using just this reading skills, they'll just remember 10%. The regular students, they will just retain 10% of what they read. When they hear, now the hearing sense is also activated. When they hear, when the teacher is speaking and when they're hearing, or when some audio aid is being used in the class and they are hearing through that, when they hear, this is 20%. This is 20% of what they hear. 20% of the content they will remember, they will retain when they hear. Now the more audiovisual aids are used now in the class. When you are using images and videos, you're displaying images and videos and depicting and illustrating through these images and videos. 30% is what they see. 30% of what they see is what they remember, what they retain in their minds. The learning is 30% when they are viewing, and when they are watching the videos with viewing images, this is 30% of what they see. Now when you are also involving some field trips, like attending exhibits and sites and watching a demonstration, some demonstration is being done in class, some experiments in the form of demonstration are executed in the class, some they are taking for some field trips, or some sites are being visited. This is 50% of what they hear and what they see, what they experience. 50% is what they retain as learning. Now when they are also involved in some workshops and design collaborative lessons. Now when the students are sitting together and some teams are made and collaboration is done, workshops are made for them, workshops are organized for them. 70% is what they say and what they write, because they're involved more. They are participating in that in those workshops that are organized. Their collaborative lessons that are planned for them, they are participating, they're becoming more active. So 70% is what they learn. And finally, when the real experiences when are given to them, the simulated conditions are there in the class, and they're doing the real things. They're doing the things themselves, and they are real life situations they are feeling in the class. When they are involved in that, they themselves experiencing the problems, the real problems they are feeling, experiencing, and then they want to sort it out. They sort it out and they sort out the truth, the knowledge. They retain 90% of what they do because they are doing it themselves. So a problem based learning is based on these simulated real life experiences, real experimentations, real experiences, and the learners are doing the real things in the class. So 90% is what they retain, and so the purpose of education is achieved more when problem based learning is used more and more in the class. So, as teachers, we should involve this problem based learning in our regular methods of teaching also, so that the student orient themselves more towards education, more towards learning, and learn more, which is the final aim of the learning. The aim of the teacher and the aim of the learners does not differ in this. They both are there for helping the learners out in learning, and this problem based learning will help them more, the teachers more. There are some essential elements of PBL. We'll go through this now. This curriculum content, the content is kept in mind. The problems are based on this curriculum content. That is the problems that are assigned to the students. That is based on the curriculum content. 21st century skills that we have, the researchers, the teachers, that we all feel that is needed in the students, those are taken into consideration while using this method, problem based learning. Need to know what they need to know, the students what they need to know, this is kept in mind by a teacher while assigning a problem. The problem will be based on the knowledge that has to be given to them, the knowledge that the students should understand after solving that problem. So that that need to know is kept in mind while assigning a problem by the teacher. Driving questions. Now, some questions are driven in the minds of the students. Some questions are given by the teacher, and some questions, when they're given by the teacher and the students start solving that problem based learning, the problems based on problem based learning, some questions will come in his or her mind also, and these questions will drive him towards the knowledge, that the content, the curriculum content, that the final aim of the learner and the teacher as well. The student voice and choice. The student has the voice and the choice, because he will go to the teacher. That when he'll ask the teacher from where he has to gather the information, the facts, he will be given a few avenues, a few ways of getting that knowledge. Like you can say, you can know knowledge from the books, from the e-books, from the websites you can collect, or from you do it this much and then you will understand more, and then you can consult some books or some encyclopedias or some other supporting books, or you can go to your some other you can suggest him to go to some other teachers. You can ask him to go to library. You can ask him to go to websites, the reliable websites where he can get knowledge. So when he will visit those libraries or those e-libraries or those websites, he will have the choice of selecting the content from the reliable website, from the reliable books, from the books that are textbooks also, and not only textbooks but also from the other books also, like encyclopedias and other supporting books, from where the reference book from where he can get those knowledge. So that knowledge, to get that knowledge, he has the choice to know that knowledge from a variety of resources. These resources are not limited, that were limited in the traditional classrooms, where the textbooks were only there and the teacher was only there to give him the knowledge. Now he has the voice and the choice of finding out the knowledge, of seeking the knowledge from a variety of resources that the teacher has told him to. And he will, when he'll have the choice, he will, according to the interest that he has in those books and the interest he has in the whether he has interest in surfing the websites, or he has interest in talking to the teachers, he has interest in going surfing the libraries. He will go according to his interest, and though when he will go according to his interest, he will study more and he will learn more. So this problem based learning will be more effective than traditional method of learning in this sense also, when because student, when he's getting a choice and a voice, he will learn more. In-depth inquiry, just like a discovery method. In discovery method, what do the students do? They feel themselves like scientists. So in problem based learning also, they're feeling that they are the ones who have to come out with the knowledge and the information. So they'll do in-depth inquiry into the content, and they'll come out with some solutions. So just because they have to come out with the solutions, the teacher has not given the solution as such, and they're not practicing and exercising, they are doing the solutions themselves. So they'll do the in-depth inquiry, and whenever one does in-depth inquiry, he will study more and he will know more. Reflection and revision, now when he has to solve the problem and report the solution of the problem, his reflective skills will evolve. He will reflect more, he'll think more, he'll revise his solution, because he is presenting the solution himself or herself. The teacher is not giving a standard solution to the problem. The students are solving, the students are giving the solution to the teacher, and the teacher will go through that solution and will see whether it is correct or not. Then if it is incorrect, then again the whole cycle will be repeated. That we were coming to that. But here, when you're reading these elements, we must understand the reflective skills of the students will involve and evolve, because he's presenting the answer himself, so he will be more responsible for it. And when one is more responsible for it, he will take care that things are correct. So he'll do the in-depth inquiry and reflect more in those problems that are assigned to them, the learners, by the teachers. Audience presented product, so it is an audience presented product, because the students are the audience, and they are taking the education as a product, because the problem is given to them, the problem is presented to them, and they are solving out the problems. So they are the audience, and the audience presented product, and when they will sort out the problem, that will help the whole class. The whole class will be audience for the solution too. So it is an audience presented product, this PBL learning. Here is a problem based learning cycle in front of you. We'll start with exploring the problem. The problem is explored. Okay, exploring the problem. Now, here you see from the word explore, the verb that is used, exploring the problem, explore the problem. The student will explore the problem. He will feel that he's exploring the problem. So when the problem is explored, not given to you, this is another one step ahead in this problem based learning. You're not giving the problem to the student as such. He's feeling, he's exploring the problem. So who explores the problem? The scientists explore the problem, the researchers explore the problem, the teachers explore the problem, and here now the students are exploring the problem. Such a situation, such a teaching learning situation is made in the class, that the problem that is given to the students, he feels like that he's exploring it. A variety of situations are made in front of the teaching learning situations, is developed, is an artificial environment which feels like a real environment is made in the class, and the student is asked to explore the problem. He will explore the problem, of course, in the direction of the teaching learning situation that has been created in the class, but he'll feel that he has explored the problem. So here, as soon as he explores the problem, his interest will come in that problem and in the content that the teacher wanted, because he has explored the problem. So when you are in some problem, then you try to solve it, and when you're feeling that the problem is there, then you'll solve it more. So exploring the problem, the first step is exploring the problem. The second is assess existing knowledge that can help resolve the problem. Now, assessment will be done. This assessment will be done with the help of teacher. He will facilitate in that. The students, he will facilitate the students in that. Assess existing knowledge that can help in resolve the problem. Now the problem is there, and now he has to assess the various situations, the various knowledge, the content, the facts, the information from where he can solve out the problem. So this will be assessed, and the teacher will help him to assess. So now they are working in collaboration. The teacher and the student, they are working in collaboration, just as the researcher and the research guide does when they are making some research work, making some study do. So in this also, the existing knowledge in with reference to the problem that is explored, the knowledge will be assessed to resolve the problem. The third step is determine what else they need to know. Now they have assessed what is the existing knowledge that can help him out in solving the problem. Now that this will be seen, what else does he need to know to solve that problem? Is that enough, whatever he has gathered or he has read through the book, that whatever he has assessed and finally gone through it, is that enough for determining what he needs to know to solve the problem? So that will be seen, and that extra knowledge, that extra work, he will be asked, he will be in collaboration with the teacher, he'll be asked to find out what else he needs to know. Then conduct research and self study. Now he'll go through the self study and research work and doing things himself, finding out the solutions, checking whether the solution is correct or not, and if it is wrong, then the another way of the more self study will be needed, the more doing will be needed, and maybe he'll come out with a solution with the help of the teacher. Now the second time, if not in the second time, the third time he'll be coming out. So in this way he'll be doing the study and the research work in a view of solving the problem. The next step is share knowledge with group members. Now whatever knowledge he has gathered, that will be shared with the group member. These group members are the students of the class, the classmates that he has the with the classmates. He'll share the knowledge. Not only he will share the knowledge or she will share the knowledge, the other students will also share the knowledge. Those who are working as a team in solving out that problem, they all will share the knowledge. I mean, they all will share the knowledge that they have gone through, they have read, they have felt, they have experienced, they have done and learned. They will know more because they are learning among themselves. From each other they are learning. So this collaboration will help them a lot in learning. Now they'll apply the knowledge to resolve the problem. Now all of them have discussed what they have found out, what they have gathered, and then they will apply the knowledge to resolve the problem and evaluate problem solving process. This evaluation will be done again with the collaboration of the teacher, with the help of the teacher, with the guidance of the teacher. All the steps will be under the supervision and guidance of teacher, but he will not be dominating. He'll be just be facilitating and uh, making these steps happen. So the final step is evaluation of the problem solving process. The solution of the problem will be evaluated, whether the solution is correct or not. The teacher will help him out, the students out, and when if the solution is correct, it's okay. If the solution is not correct, then he will again ask the students to study more and to conduct the things more, conduct the researches more, and find out the more solutions to the study to the problem. And finally the solution will come and the problem will be solved. And this is the purpose of the class, the purpose of this problem based cycle. When problem based learning cycle, when the solution will come, by the time they are giving the solutions, the students are giving the solutions, they have understood the whole content, they have understood the whole cycle, they have done the whole content reading and doing by themselves. So they have learned the content, the curriculum, the purpose of education, the learning is more achieved at this level when they have solved the problem. Here are various levels of thinking skill that a student goes through. The first starts from the last ladder, the last belt that is shown, remembering. Remembering is a thinking skill that is the lowest form of thinking skill. When a student memorizes the content, it is the lowest form of thinking skill. He's learning, but he's learning in the form of memorization. He's just remembering. When he's remembering, this is the thinking skill that is taken up by very small children, like children at the age of 3 to 5 years of age. They, because they're mentally not that mature, they are mentally immature and their mind is still developing, so they memorize more. If their understanding skills are not developed, they are not able to do the reflection to the things, they memorize more. So this is the lowest form of thinking skill when a student mind is immature, so they remember through memorization. The second is understanding. When their mind is a bit more developed, this understanding comes. Now they start to, whatever they have memorized, they will start to give a meaning to it, and they will understand what they have memorized. They will understand. So this is a next order of thinking skill, next evolved order, next high order of thinking skill, higher order than remembering, this understanding. The third is applying. Now they have memorized and understood well, so they will apply that knowledge. When they're applying, that is a higher order of thinking skill. They're applying the knowledge. Applying comes when they are solving the problem. You have as a teacher, you have given the content to the students and they have understood the content. So what do? They start solving the exercise. They solve the practice. They practice the questions and the exercises given at the back of the book, or the questions given by the teachers. So they apply that knowledge, whatever is they have memorized and whatever they have understood. The next is analyzing. They analyze. Now they this is the next order of thinking skill. They are not only applying, but they're analyzing also. They're analyzing whether how this solution has come. They're analyzing how that solution they have achieved, and they're practicing and analyzing at the same time also that how that knowledge that they have understood and applied, and now how can that knowledge, how they that knowledge may help them in other similar situations that is not there in the books or given by the teachers. If such a situation arises, such problems come, will they be able to solve those problems by the skills they have achieved through this understanding, applying? They will start analyzing, and higher order of thinking skill, higher level of thinking skill will come. Next is evaluating. When evaluation starts, this is a very high order of thinking skill, and this is done by mature minds. And these mature minds, they start evaluating. Like as teachers also, when you tell them something, they won't accept it as such. They will evaluate it first, whether the teacher is correct or not, they are right or not, according to the books, if the teachers are saying or not. It is written something else in the book, the teacher is saying something else, so there's a contradiction, there's a controversy. They'll try to discuss with others, with the teachers, with their guides, or whoever the experts they have. They will evaluate, and then they will accept the knowledge. So this is a higher or next higher order of thinking skill. And the last order of thinking skill is creating. They create knowledge. This is done by researchers, the scientists, those who come out with the new theories and new knowledge. Creating. The knowledge is created. So this creation doesn't come all of a sudden. It comes through remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and then creation of knowledge comes when the minds become very mature, and all the thinking skills are evolved, and they are able to think that way. They are able to follow the scientific methods of finding out the truth, and then they start creating the knowledge. This problem based learning comes when the students start analyzing and evaluating the knowledge. When they are mentally that mature, this problem based learning uh, can be done with them, and the teacher can use this problem based learning with them when they start analyzing and evaluating. So these are the orders of levels of thinking skills. The problem based learning comes, as I've already said, when they start analyzing. They are this is a higher order of thinking skill. Applying is the order of thinking skill where the traditional method of teaching stops. You tell them, they understand them, and then they apply the knowledge in the form of answers to the questions that they give. So that is all. And then the class becomes over. So analyzing, evaluating, and creating doesn't come in a regular class in the traditional method of teaching. Analyzing and evaluating come in problem based learning. So this is very important. This multimedia learning process, this problem based learning is a multimedia learning process, and it involves the use of text, images, audio, video, animation. Through all these things, the still pictures, the animation, the motion pictures, the videos, the student takes the help of all these, and then he learns. And as you can see, this is a audio visual. With the audio visual method of teaching is always effective, and this audio visual use of methods and this use of technology can be done in this problem based learning, and so the students will learn more. Multimedia learning process. Now we come on to some advantages, the advantages of problem based learning. The first advantage is enhanced student centered learning. This is what we have been discussing all about. In problem based learning, the students are actively involved in this method, and when they're actively involved, they retain the knowledge more and develop lifelong learning skills. Self directed learning skills are developed. This will help them in lifelong learning, the deep learning, the in depth learning they will do, these students. So this is a very advantageous part of learning, where the students are learning by themselves, and they are developing the skill of lifelong learning and deep learning and in-depth knowledge. The second advantage is upholds lifelong learning. When they are learning by themselves and they're realizing their own goals of learning and teaching and education, they are exploring the new resources of learning that stimulates them more towards knowledge and towards learning. They are taking the responsibilities of solving the questions. They are learning more, and this upholds lifelong learning. The next advantage is prominence on comprehension, not facts, because it focuses on engaging the students in getting the solutions for themselves. This method will help them in comprehension. They are finding out various resources, they're finding out various ways where from where they can collect knowledge and gather this information. So they will be comprehending this knowledge, and they will be knowing more. So prominence on comprehension. Next is in-depth learning and constructivist approach. This is a very latest form of approach in education sector, which has brought again a paradigm shift in the methods of teaching. Constructivist approach. We all know that students that come in front of us, to whom we have to teach, they are not blank. They already have some knowledge. We have to construct the knowledge in addition to the knowledge that they already have. So they have some prior knowledge, and we have to build on that knowledge, the knowledge that we have to give, the aim of the class, whatever is the aim of the class, the content that has to be delivered, that has to be delivered, and that will add on to their knowledge, the knowledge that they already have, the previous knowledge that they already have. So this PPL, this fosters interaction of the students with the learning materials, and then they relate the concept they study with their everyday activities, and they enhance more their knowledge and the understanding, and the knowledge is developed, constructed in their minds. They don't learn, they don't memorize, it is constructed in their mind. So it is more of permanent in nature, it is more permanent, and that will be there, that will retain there more, and they'll, because they have sorted out and solved the problems, and they will understand the solutions. So they will know the knowledge more, they will understand the knowledge more, they will analyze the knowledge more. Next is augment self-learning. Students resolve the problems themselves, so they take the interest in solving the problems. They take the responsibilities in learning, and they look out for the research articles, the journals, the web materials, the textbooks, the reference books, and all. And so they become more proficient in seeking resources in comparison to the tuition classes. They will go for this self-learning, and then this once they go on this path of self learning, this will continue throughout their life, and they will not be dependent on others only for their learning. They will be able to do self directed learning, which is a very good advantage, very a merit of problem based learning. Better understanding and adaptness. By giving more significance to the meaning, applicability, and relevance to the learning materials. We all know that problem based learning, in this, they are developing better understanding. The real life situations they are getting and their problems they are getting, they are long lasting in their minds. They are solving them by involving them, and they are imbibing the solutions also very well. So, better understanding is there of the content. Next is reinforces interpersonal skills and teamwork, because they are working in cooperative and collaborative learning environment. So this environment definitely help them to reinforce their interpersonal skills. They will not feel shy in front of their at least classmates to talk among themselves. They will learn the content the others have found out, the others have approached, and if they have not approached also, when they'll discuss the solution, they will learn about that learning material. And this kind of learning, when this will happen, their skills will enhance, and this teamwork they will understand, and they will learn a lot more in this teamwork, leadership quality that we all talk about, the group dynamics that we all teachers talk about. This will be better, and they will give this will give a better learning to the students. Self motivated attitude. The students, because they are doing problem based learning classes, they will be self motivated, and they will regularly come to the class, they'll attend the class, they'll talk to the teachers, they'll be interested more uh, in going to the class and finding out the knowledge. So this self motivated attitude will help them in learning. Whenever a student is motivated in a class, he will learn more, and if he is not motivated, if he is not taking interest in the class, he lacks the interest in the class, he will not retain any knowledge, he will not listen to any knowledge, he will not understand to any knowledge, and the aim of the class will not be realized. This self-motivated learning, it is a self-motivated learning mode, a self-motivated attitude that will come in the students, and then they will pursue the learning day after day more and more. And with this, there's one more merit that says enriches the teacher-student relationship, because the teacher is helping the students out as a facilitator, as a guide, as a member of that team. So this will help in a better student teacher relationship, and when this teacher student bond will be strong, the students will learn more. The learner centered approach of education that we all talk about, and that is the need of the day and need of the today's world. It all says just about the, it says that the learner centered approach, because the learners have to learn, so learner centered approach has to be taken into consideration. And in this learner centered approach, the student teacher bonding to student teacher relationship should be very strong, where the students don't feel that the teacher is very strict and he will not answer, or they don't feel shy in asking the questions. The teacher has to be supportive in his role. This student teacher relationship is very strong in problem based learning. It gradually with time it goes more strong and strong and stronger, and when this student teacher relationship is nurtured, significant changes in learning will be taking place in the education and the student as well, and the students will learn more. Higher level of learning, as I've already said, this is a high level of, we have already seen that there are some levels of thinking skill, and to analyze and to evaluate and to create the knowledge, problem based learning has to be taken into the class, so that the learner learns through this method, and they realize and they understand the knowledge more, the content more, and their reflective skills evolve, so that they are able to retain the knowledge better, understand the knowledge better, analyze the knowledge better, and use that knowledge in their future, in the future of the in their life in future, whenever such problems come into their lives, or when they are into some profession where they have to use this knowledge, they're able to use this knowledge more. So problem based learning is a high level of learning, and that has to be taken into the class so that the students learn more. Though it has many advantages and many merits that we have discussed, and that is the need of the hour, need of the present system of education, that problem based learning has to be used in class. But of course, there's some disadvantages too, and these disadvantages we'll study now. But these disadvantages are not that we cannot remove them, or we cannot that they will definitely be, it is not the case. We are reading, we are going through these disadvantages so that we are able to manage the problem based learning more, and we are able to take remove these disadvantages of the problem based learning, so that we are able to make more that problem based learning more effective in the class. We have to know these disadvantages so that we are able to work on them, work on it, and solve the uh, demerits, and these demerits, because we have to know, and then only we can solve them out. We'll just go through these. What are the problems that come in problem based learning? Time consuming, because the students have to gain the knowledge all by themselves. They have to collect the information, gather the information, discuss with the students, with the teachers, with the experts. So this will be time consuming. They have to invest more time. This disadvantage that they have to invest more time is a disadvantage, because the curriculum has to be finished on time, the syllabus has to be covered on time. But because they're involving their time more, the students are giving more time to the content, they learn also more. So by helping the students out in so that they don't waste their time much in doing things that are not relevant to the problem that they are giving to them, the teacher can help them out more in time saving. So this time, though it is time consuming, the teacher can definitely save time by helping the students more in solving the problems, not doing work for the irrelevant things, not doing things that are not very feasible and not very towards the solution of the problems. He can help them out in saving time. The second is traditional assumptions of the students. See, there's some traditional assumptions both for the teachers and the students. Most of the teachers and the students, all of us, the thing is that we have been teaching and we have been learning also through the traditional methods of learning since very long. So because since very long this is happening, it has become a habit that as teachers and students we like to learn more through the traditional methods of learning, and we are not equipped well as teachers to help our student equip themselves with this problem based learning. The students, they lack the ability to understand the things why this problem based learning is taken up in the class and how they have to go through this, the process they won't understand. So as teachers and as students, both in both ways the problems will arise, because throughout these years we have all have been following the traditional methods of learning, and whenever we talk about some new methods of teaching and learning, the problems will come. The barriers of the barriers, the traditional methods of teaching, they will prove like small barriers or big barriers. Whenever some new technology things come into the class, there are some barriers in our minds sometimes, through our budget sometimes. So there are various barriers, and we have to solve these barriers also as well, because we have to adopt and adapt ourselves to the new methods of teaching and learning, because they are more beneficial to the students. So these students who have to go through this process and this cycle, they won't understand. But as teachers, we have to facilitate and help them out in understanding this, that problem based learning is definitely a better way of learning. So this disadvantage, again, that we are studying is just because, so that as teachers we are help them out, or help the students out more, and change this disadvantage into an advantage, and the problem based learning will influence and will have a more impact, and will be a better way of learning for the students. Role of the instructor: the role of instructor is to incorporate problem based learning into the regular classrooms, and to give questions to the students, to help them explore the questions, to give hints to them to correct the mistakes, and all these features of problem based learning, they have to, the instructors or the teachers, they have to incorporate in the class, again as I've already said, because they are also equipped with the traditional methods of learning. So this problem based learning will be a challenge to them also to understand and to equip for themselves, so that they can help out the students more. But definitely as teachers, we are also going through this learning cycle, and we have to learn more and more, day by day, more and more, because the researchers are going on, and these researchers, the solutions, the modifications that they are suggesting, we have to take them and adapt them in our regular classroom teaching. Pupils evaluation: the instructors have to adapt to new assessment methods, because they are learning, making the students learn through the new methods of learning. So the new assessment and evaluation techniques will also be taken up. There won't be any one standard evaluation technique that will be used in the class. The incorporation of all types of evaluation techniques that may be used to assess the problem and assess the content that they have learned, they have to use in the class. The teachers have to use all the a blend of all those techniques, all the evaluation techniques in the class, like modified essay questions, practical examinations, peer and self assessment, etc. Whatever the evaluation ways and evaluation techniques are being evolving day by day, all those evaluation techniques have to be taken up and used up by the used in the class by the teachers. The traditional evaluation methods won't help out here because the problem based learning is also a new technique of teaching and learning. So the evaluation methods will also be different, and the teachers have to equip themselves with this. I'll end up with my presentation with these lines that the teacher is the greatest innovator. Teacher is also a learner and he is the greatest innovator. We don't have to forget that we are also learning day by day, knowledge and enhancing day by day in any and all subjects. In all the subjects, many researchers are going on, and these researchers, when they're going on, we have to study them, we have to take give attention to them, and we have to understand that we also have to learn day by day so that we can understand our students well. We can understand our students well, we can make them understand the content well. For all this we have to uh, we also have to learn more and more. So teacher is the greatest innovator. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Who keeps learning stays young. Teachers should guide without dictating and participate without dominating. And this is where our problem-based learning is stands in the class, because teachers are guiding without dictating in problem-based learning and participate without dominating the class. Learning never ends. And with this, I finish up with my presentation today. If there are any queries related with the presentation or the content that we have taken up, they are most welcome. The session is open for any kind of questions that may be raised by people, by the audience or the viewers who are taking this presentation.
Thank you so much,
Back to
ma'am. Thank you so much for letting us know what actually problem based learning is. Please allow me to ask a small question.
you. Yes, Shraddha, carry on.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to know that what are the initial steps that need to be followed to make this paradigm shift from traditional learning to this thing, problem-based learning, particularly for the schools who are still following the traditional method.
Very good, Shraddha. Very good, Shraddha. Very good question, because this is a very relevant question. Because whenever we talk about any new technique of teaching, we have to understand that as teacher, we have to welcome those techniques. What happens actually in the practical situation, that the teachers, they find it more easy and more they are not flexible. They find it more easy to follow the traditional methods of teaching because they are teaching and learning throughout their life through those methods. So they are not they don't easily adopt these new methods of teaching. For problem based learning, a teacher should mentally first accept this, that the technology is evolving day by day, and when this technology is evolving day by day, the education sector is also there that will be affected. And when this and in the education sector also, we have to make this technology come, and for this we should not prove as barriers to the new researchers and the new technologies. We have to understand them, we have to give meaning to them in our classrooms, and we have to take them to the classroom. So first of all, we have to equip themselves with those new things. This problem based learning also, we have to first understand what it is all about, why it is important that we have to understand this, and why this has to be taken to the class. And because the researchers are going on, why those researchers are going on, because the traditional methods are not proving that fruitful and not that effective, and the learners are not learning that much, that they are learning more through these new methods of learning. So as teachers, we don't have to prove barriers to these new technologies. We have to understand that there are new methods of technologies, we have to equip themselves, we equip ourselves with those technology methods, and then only we can take them to our traditional methods of classes, and where we can slowly and slowly we can change those methods and remove those methods in the traditional classroom that are obsolete by now. They are not useful now. I'm not asking to completely remove those traditional methods, but definitely some modifications are needed, and much of the content much of the content, if we again go through those content in the curriculum, we'll find out that the traditional methods of teaching are not that effective in teaching those content. The new technology methods are more effective. So gradually and slowly we can remove those traditional methods of teaching and come out with these methods of teaching that are more useful and more effective in the class. Thank you, Shraddha. Back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for making this point clear, and thank you for such an insightful session. You drove back the point home so well by taking out time from a busy schedule. We are really grateful for it, and your presence truly magnified our cause in the best possible way. Thank you so much
Thank
again,
you,
ma'am.
Shraddha. I'll just take 1 minute more. Thank you to you too, and thank you to Geti also for adding me here as a lecture, giving me an opportunity to give a lecture to the audience and to the maybe the teachers would be teachers. Uh, because I have already said in my during the start of the presentation that I'm a B.Ed teacher. I'm already dealing with the B.Ed students, the trainees that come in front of me, and I have to guide them. So it's a good opportunity for me to be associated with such an organization like GETI. In future, also, I would like to be connected with GETI. And thank you, Shraddha, for giving me an opportunity and carrying out this session so well, organizing it so well, and moderating it so well. Thank you to you, Shraddha.
Absolutely our pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.